What's up, fam? Welcome back to the Steep Stuff Podcast. I'm your host, Teddy Tonelli. James is here too. We're doing those Simul-Cast things. James was kind enough to invite me on, get my opinions on a few things for the upcoming Canyons 50K. We talk about the 100K, we talk about the 100 miler, talk about a whole bunch of other things. Whether you're watching this on Chasin Trail or the Steep Stuff channel, it's all the same. It's all the same. But thank you, James, for having me on. And I guess I thank you for having you on for me. I don't know. Without further ado, Canyons 50K 2025. Steep Stuff, Chasin Trail. Let's do this.
It's time! Ladies and gentlemen, we are live!
Teddy Tonelli, welcome to the Steep Stuff Podcast. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, James, it's great to be here. I was your podcast. You're my podcast. Your podcast is great. I'm doing good.
Dude, we're it's a wild day, man. It's already April. It's like late April. Canyons is right around the corner. It's a good day in Northern California for some racing. Getting ready for it. April 26th. We're here to talk about the Canyons races, man. Mostly the 50K, but we could talk about it all. What do you think? What do you got going on these days?
No, it's great because I got some insider information, actually. I'm in Northern California right now, James, actually in the Bay Area, just outside of Auburn, where this race is going to be primarily taking place. And I'm telling you, the weather is incredible here. Everybody talks about it, but it's crazy. Look, we're a few days out from this race, James. A few weeks, whatever's here, April 26th, yeah? Okay. I looked on the Weather Channel. There's nothing there. So I went to the library. I got myself a Farmer's Almanac. Okay, I'm telling you, this thing is amazing. It's telling me the temperature is going to be between 50 degrees and 70 degrees, James. That's perfect running weather. I don't know about you, but for me, that's perfect.
It is going to be perfect, man. I think I got the Weather Channel. I don't know what I checked. I checked Google. 66 for the high, partly cloudy, 23% chance of rain. How can they predict that so far out? That percentage of rain? That's crazy.
23? Like, okay, like you tell me you picked the number 23, like scientifically? 23. Oh, yeah. Well, guess what? Teddy's information says 27. So, there.
That's awfully specific, man. I don't know. It's kind of crazy. Have you ever been on the Canyons course? You ever run around there?
Yeah, Teddy. I've been out there, I've run on the Western States course a little bit, which there's a lot of the Western States is on the Canyons course. So I've run a little bit of that. I've never actually run the race itself. I know I was talking to a buddy. He was telling me that the Canyons 100K before it was bought by the billionaires was actually started out as a 100K. And now they've got all these other races. They got the 25K. They got a 50K. And I know we're focusing on the 50, but they got the 100K. Now they started with the 100 miler.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so many races.
Before the billionaires bought it, this is going back to like 2021. Maybe it was still a UTMB race, I think, in 21. Maybe it was before that. But like there was this it used to be a really sweet course where it was going backwards on the Western States Trail and like a ton of vertical. Like it was like an actual climber's course. And then they changed it to make it start and end in Auburn, where it used to start, I believe, started in Auburn and ended like near China Wall all the way up near getting into the high country. So yeah, the course has like been changed a bunch over the years. I'm not going to talk too much shit other than the entry fee prices. But like the course used to be better in my opinion. Like I think they butchered it.
Yeah, the entry fees. Look, it's kind of I don't understand. I'm trying to figure out how they're trying to structure these things. I look at it this way. It's a little, as they say, is nuanced. This is the way I see it. Is that UTMB comes in, they buy this race, and they make it like it's $250 or something like that for the 50K, $500 for the 100. 285?
285 for a 50K. And listen, I haven't, and this is like goes to speak to like how like this is bad. I haven't looked at like a race entry fee in a long time. This is the first one I've looked at in like probably a year, and like happened to look at it and was like,
big time athlete.
No. But it's like most sub ultra races are pretty cheap. But like, and yes, I am fortunate enough to have some race entries paid for. Dude, $285 to go race in this economy? What the
in
fuck?
this economy? You're gonna start putting tariffs. You're gonna start putting tariffs on our race entry fees. You know, hey, look. All I'm saying is if we want to keep it American, I looked at the 100-mile race. There's not a single American running the 100-mile race. What are the tariffs doing for that?
Is that true?
I thought they're supposed to be. Yeah, I thought they're supposed to be bringing jobs back. And look, and here's the thing: is that it's 100-mile. Okay. It's the elites. There's not an American elite running the 100-mile. Okay. But anyway, but the race fees, like you were saying, James, I think that maybe, you know, that's I see a lot of that's where we're going. This is really expensive. Where's the money going? You know, I better be getting a cheeseburger at an aid station if I'm paying that much money.
Yeah. No, seriously. I mean, like, all that for just a medal and some photos at the end of the finish line. Like, the only reason I have an issue with it is because, one, like, Canyons used to be like a really solid grassroots event, and I just don't think it is anymore. Yeah. Like, and it used to be, it still is a golden ticket race, but like the lure of the golden ticket race before, I feel like might have been higher than it is now. But the other part of it that I have a hard time with is like, so you're going to get what, 700-800 runners per race. You're charging, you know, how many people are in the 100-mile, and you're charging $500 a head? Dude, that's some serious dough. Like, they're making, like, there's some production value there. You know, some serious money they're going to be charging. So, yeah, I don't know. That was something I'm glad we included, because that I saw those prices and was like, $179 for a 25K race? Like, are you kidding me right now?
And it's crazy, but like it seems to be everywhere, James. And we'll get off this topic because it's not something we want to harp on. But you know, I look at like, you know, the other day I was talking to one of those grassroots race directors, and we was talking like about this, like the destination trail races where there's charging people upwards of $3,000 and then put it on a payment plan. I'm sorry, I think we've lost touch with reality here, but that's okay. That's fine.
Yeah. All right, we can get into the race. We talk about a little bit about the 50K. Yeah. I've got some storylines. You can hop in where you think, but like, dude, the depth is deep, man. We've got Hayden Hawks, Eli Hemming, Heather Jackson, Tabor Hemming. We've got Jennifer Lichtner. And that's just like the top 5 or 6 names. Like, the depth is deep, man. Like, what do you think about some of these names in this race?
James, I'm looking at some of these guys, and you know, the 50K is absolutely incredible. Like, I'm going through this entry list, and the 50K is insane. We got Eli Hemming, we got Seth Ruling, Hayden Hawks, Nick Handel, Drew Holman. At the end of the day, every one of those guys, it can potentially win this race. Now, I'm a little worried. I think that we're going to see something a little different this race. I think people see Eli. I think that performance in Alta, he did what he did. He's a competitor. He's going to come out and he's going to show up. But I'm thinking we're going to see somebody else sitting on top of the podium for this one.
I think you're right. I think the big matchup for me that I'm looking at is going to be between Hayden and Eli. I think we have two, and we'll get into matchups a little bit later as we get through the storylines. But you're seeing two very evenly matched athletes. One is the best 50K runner probably on the planet. One is the best, outside of Jim, probably the best 100K runner on the planet. So it's like, wow, you know, this is going to be the battle of the heavyweights. I'm excited for this. There should be a belt on the line for this one. Like, this is insane. Like,
I mean, if you get Bruce Buffer in there, and you know, maybe that's what the UTMB budget is for. So look, maybe we jump at the conclusions. Maybe Bruce is going to be out there. It's time. He does that. You do that with your podcast. Yeah, that's good. Well, okay, but Eli won last year. He's defending his crown, so he's a
champion. Yeah, and ran 7. I mean, I don't know if they changed the course. It's because I know they change the courses like every year. But Eli ran about 7 minutes faster than Hayden did, and Hayden won 23. So it's crazy. It's crazy how fast this race is. Also, Heather Jackson's back. She is a former champion of this race. She's coming back after like an absolute epic blow up at Black Canyon. So we're gonna see where she faded back to like 14th place. we're gonna see what goes on there. That's gonna be interesting. I'm sure she's hungry to go get a dub this year, especially going into Western States. Probably a hard effort she's gonna have to put in to get that. I'm also really looking forward to the rematch between Jennifer Lichtner and Tabor Hemming. Like Tabor is a monster, and like after coming off this like crazy road, I think she might be doing one of the marathon majors as well. But like after like dismantling the field, she didn't really have anybody to challenge her at at Alta, and then you got somebody like Jennifer Lichtner. It's crazy.
Yeah, and I think it is fun. It's funny because like I think Jen. It's very interesting. Let's talk about storylines for a second, because we're looking at Jen Lichter as being as probably the top female on the North Face team now, with Katie Schide's recent departure to On Running, and I think that Jen is hungry. I think that there's that's where my money is, James. I'm thinking it's the tiny. I think what's the El Lobo. She's like the wolf.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Dude, Jen is scary. I've never been on a start line with her, but like, she's a monster, dude. Like, I don't know. And especially like you said, like, to me, she's probably. I mean, it goes back and forth. I mean, she can be beaten. Like Bailey was able to beat her last year at the Rut 28K. But I think as far as 50K races go, I mean, she's a past champion of JFK, which is a 50-mile race. But like but runs like a 50K because it's so fast. But you're looking at someone, in my opinion, that's probably the best mountain 50K athlete on the planet. Like somewhere maybe outside of like Tony McCann. Like she could compete with Tony on any given day. Just won the Trans Gran Canaria Marathon. Jen's a monster, dude, and like has often won the Rut 50K. Like I said, took second at this race last year, but only behind Danny Marino, who was on a heater and just came off a really solid half marathon block. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what comes out of that.
On the women's side, how do you feel about Hannah Allgood?
Oh, you had to ask me that.
I had to ask because I think. Little dark. I'm gonna say it. People, just watch out. Watch out.
Really?
She might be coming for you. I'm putting it out there.
So I'm a Colorado Springs guy, and I don't like to throw shade often or talk shit. I think a little overrated, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, people are saying that, and the thing is that I think that at the end of the day, you gotta come up. They say, put up or shut up.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I mean,
Hannah,
listen,
where you at?
I think. So put it this way. Strava serves some people really well and others not. I think if you look at this particular human Strava, I think there's a lot of really fast training in there. And I think somewhat suited for a fast 50K like this in a lot of ways. But I think sometimes there's some hubris in some of these workouts. And I think at the same time, a particular person's race might be left in training. And whereas like
David Roche,
no, I just see some of that in there. Well, the other thing is, and not to be a dick, and I shouldn't I mean, since we're in that, like, I just think that they're. Yeah, let's see what happens. I'll leave it at that. Not to talk too much here because this is an inner-city rivalry at that point. Like if I'm throwing that gauntlet down. But that said, I think it's a little overrated. I think when you start to swim with the sharks, in my opinion, you got to remember, like, Hannah runs a lot of like longer races, and the races that she's made her name off of. Some like she won a European race last year. What was it, Eiger? Which is a great race at the end of the day. But like when you're talking about like swim with the sharks, like really world-class competition, like your Tabors, your Jennifers, your Heathers, it's going to be interesting. Oh, yeah. I think, like I said, swimming with sharks.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It could be all bad for all good. We'll see. We will see.
Yeah. All right. So let's move on. What's up with all the Terex athletes at this race? Is that like a thing?
I've seen that. Well, look, here's the thing. I don't know. Maybe UTMB is looking to take breaks with Hoka. I'm not sure. I'm just saying. No one ever said that. The one team that I find very interesting, James, is the Arc'teryx team. Like, where did these guys come from out of nowhere? I mean, I know it's a little bit of a tangent, but like, holy crap. We'll get to that in a second. The Terex team, I know we're talking about the 50K, but the 100K, I believe, is it? Oh gosh, a guy, Eric LaPuma.
Oh, yeah.
He's racing it.
The Puma.
I don't know. The Puma, okay, look. It's a Western States, like on the Western States course, there's the whole cougar thing. He's a Puma. Pumas are cougars. It's just different names. Teddy knows a lot about animals, so I know this. But I think the Puma's going to take it, and he's a T-Rex guy.
He is a T-Rex guy. He also, what did you say he looked like? I can't remember that for the life of me.
Yeah, he looks like a taxidermist.
He does.
Yeah.
Or a serial killer, a little bit. Yeah.
And who knows? Maybe he moonlights. I'm not sure. I mean, but he's a great runner, so I won't take that away from him.
LaPuma. Dude,
Eric's great.
Yeah,
he is. He's so nice. He's such a nice guy.
Yeah. I'm excited to see what he can do. I hope dude, like he's been knocking on. He's so good, and like. I think he gets a little overlooked, like, like for instance, like he would have obviously won that race against, he matched up against Jim. Jim, has been on a heater, obviously, and he would have won that race if Jim didn't show up. So he gets like overlooked, right, in some of these matchups. In my opinion, I think he's world class, and I'd love to see him get into Western States this year. It'd be cool to see him win.
And it's just getting more and more stacked with Western States. I mean, last week we saw at Gorge, Adam Peterman came back and he showed out, and like he took a break. He decided, was a few years ago, he decided, I'm going to come in, I'm going to win Western States and then hurt my foot. And now he's back, and holy crap. I see these guys just more and more added to the start line, and it's nuts. And, one of these guys, speaking of the 50K, he's actually a local guy. Do you know Nick Handel?
Yeah, kid's nasty, dude.
Nick,
had some great finishes in Broken Arrow. Won what was it last year? Won the Big Alta 28K pretty convincingly. He's had some great finishes at OCC too, man. Like he's a very solid 50K athlete. He's kind of folded a few times in bigger races, so I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. Like I keep coming back to that same through line with swimming with sharks, right? Like Eli and Hayden. I just, in my opinion, humbly, I see Eli and Hayden just taking it out so fucking fast, and like it's gonna be sink or swim. You're swimming with sharks at that point. So it's either you run your own race and hold on for dear life and hope you can, eke out that third spot. But that third spot's probably gonna go to a Darren Thomas or like a Cade Michael or maybe a Seth. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, well, that's absolutely accurate. I mean, I think that Seth Ruling, he's a Tennessee guy. And so he's used to all the roots and the rocks and all these things. And then you take a guy like Hayden, who this guy has made his career on running on nice smooth trails and really really fast. I'm not saying he's a bad technical runner by any stretch of the imagination, but when you got a guy like Eli and Hayden and they take it out. There is no more running your own race. You can do that, and you could hope they're going to blow up. But let's look at the history.
Yeah, they never blow
guys.
up.
They ain't going to blow up. I mean, I watched states in one day the year that last year, Hayden was coming in, and he was chasing down Rod. And I was like, he's going to get it. Like, Rod's going to die.
It was close.
He's going to get
it. Was close.
It was very close.
Yeah.
And that's the guy you're dealing with there. He's bringing that same energy from start to finish, okay? And so, sink or swim. You have a guy that's coming in. You have two champions that we know can, one of those guys. I agree. I just think that Hayden, I think he's going to take this one only because I think that Eli did a lot over at Big Alta. And I think that he might just go in and hey, if it's a little close and Hayden's, fuck it.
It's going to be interesting. I do want to double back to the 100K. So we've got interesting. So my La Sportiva teammate, Jackson Cole, is on the start list. I'm very interested. Like he's run some longer stuff before. Like I can't remember if he finished or he dropped at Leadville back in the day. But like you're talking about an insanely talented athlete. On top of that already trains with Jeff McGavro and Adam Peterman. Like, it's just a matter of time that, like, if he puts it all together, like, that's someone that could come out of the 100K with a golden ticket. I wouldn't be at all surprised.
Oh, yeah. I 100% agree. And you got Anthony Costales in there as well, who's a dark horse. Yeah. Look, and I know your guy, is Jackson Cole, is Sportiva. Look, and I love it. I think it's great. I think you're right. I do have to say one thing about the 100K, both on the men's side and the women's side. I mentioned earlier that the 100 miler didn't have any American men racing. To me, That's a travesty. This is a big race, everybody. The 100-miler was put into this race a few years ago. I can't. Do you remember who won it? Originally, I can't remember. It doesn't really matter. But what I do know is that
Did Canyon
I see
Woodward
this
do
guy.
really well there? I can't remember.
It was Canyon.
Was
it
it?
was
Was
Canyon
it?
Woodward.
Okay.
I believe
Yeah.
it was. I believe he won the inaugural one. I think he kind of owns this race a little bit. Like he's gotten I think he's podiumed every time.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But my issue is that we don't have an American male elite, okay, representing us. But we have this gentleman, Ryan Montgomery, who is a 100-mile racer running in the 100K. Okay. I don't know if this guy's trying to save himself for states or something like that, but sometimes you got to show a little patriotism and you got to say, you know what? I'm not racing the 100K. There's plenty of American representation there. I'm gonna go race the 100-miler, and I'm gonna show this German wahoo who's coming in here and thinking he's gonna run on our territory. I don't think so. No patriotism, no stars. He DNFs.
Yeah, I'm surprised we don't have any Americans in the top and any elite Americans in the top. Did you? I peeled through the 100K and 100-miler, and like I said, the 100-mile. So first of all, I got to shit on UTMB for a second. Guys, you got to just give me a list. Why do I have to search by name? What? You're really gonna waste my time with that? And then you give me a list of 5 elite men and women for each race? Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because they have their UTMB ranking is a little bit high. Because that's the thing is they give you the top 5, but there's another 5 list of elite athletes who could come in here and take the dub without any questions and zero respect.
Well, that's the thing
from UTMB.
Dude, Darren Thomas is racing this race. I mean, it was kind of a late sign up, but he's not on the website. And the only reason I knew that is because I talked to him, and I was I'm glad I know now, because I would have never included it because I didn't think to search for his name, right? Because he just came off Big Alta. So yeah, there's a lot of people that are we might even, when we get to our picks, who I think we might not even see in there. I mean, I looked a lot of names. I checked as many as I could, but I don't know. We'll see. I do.
Yeah, I did too.
I want to go back to something you mentioned earlier with Katie Schide and Germain leaving North Face. What do you think about that?
Huge.
Man? Yeah, it's a huge move.
It's a huge move. I think it's great for Katie and them. I think I'll talk about what I know. I've seen a lot of movement in free agency this year. TNF, the North Face, they've lost 2 stud ladies. They've lost Jasmine, who you had on the podcast recently.
Big fan.
Canadian, big fan of the Jasmine. And now Katie's gone. I'm wondering. It's it seems like they made a really big push into trail.
Yeah.
And then now they're kind of peeling it back a little bit. But when you've got the talents of Katie Schide and Zach Miller, and you decide that you're not going to keep those guys, there's elite athletes right there. And that's why I say I think that Jen has an opportunity to come in and cement herself as the premier North Face athlete. I don't know. I think that it's great for on running. I hate their shoes. I think they're terrible.
Same.
They're the most uncomfortable for trail. Look, if you're doing corrective shoes or you're working in a nursing home or something like that, on shoes are fantastic, super cushy. But you go out and you run in the trail, you're gonna roll your ankle. You're gonna it's all bad. So what that tells me is that Katie got paid.
Yeah, that's where I was going with that. Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. You think my guess is that it was because I don't know. I heard on Single Track they were talking about Brett Hording made the point oh, you can now they can go run in road shoes, and you got you have a whole lineup of shoes. I'm like, bro, that's not the reason she left. She got the bag.
Yeah, no. No, nobody's going to on running because of their shoe technology. Let me break it to you. You wear that for status. You go to REI to go buy your Patagonia Puffy and your white on running shoes.
That's right.
That's fine if you're gonna go out and you're gonna go and try and impress some granola girls in Boulder. But if you're gonna go run a trail race, I don't think so.
Yeah, and listen, rightfully so. I hope she's making close to Courtney level money, because she's close to Courtney's level, if not there. I mean, if anybody's going to challenge Courtney over the next few years, it's going to be Katie Schide. And if anybody's going to be the next Courtney, it's probably going to be Katie Schide. If there's anybody close. Tara Dower, maybe. I don't know. Tara Dower races a lot, man. Doesn't pick and choose her battles. She just chooses a lot of battles. So it's can you hold up over the long term for something like that? Whereas like I think Katie's very specific and very deliberate in what she does. Yeah. So.
Yeah, no, I would agree completely, and I think that like Katie, I'm gonna say hot take here. Maybe it's not even a hot take. I think she's breaking all Courtney's records.
Yeah, I think
I'm just saying it. I think she stays healthy. I mean, we're looking at a talent here, and kudos to her. And again, there's no shade to Katie. I think that you get your bag. You go and go get yourself some go get yourself some La Sportivas and like paint them with on colors so that way you don't get in trouble and you do your thing and go crush records because I mean. I'm just saying.
That's true. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun to see where this goes. All right, let's talk.
I do think I will want to say one really quick thing, James, is that like with the TNF athletes, is the one that they had before was the Jasmine. You talked about her going to Arc'teryx. I know we're gonna do picks, but I'm saying the 100K, it's not even close. She's taking it. She's taking the dub.
Yeah.
Nobody comes close to her.
I agree with that, dude. She's a monster, and like someone like talk about a kind, good human. Like I'm excited for like where things go with her. Like I think she's, I don't know, like it was just a really good fit for someone like her to go to Arc'teryx. She's from BC, like, and she's got like all that shoe line up and everything behind her. Yeah, in my opinion, I see her winning it, definitely. Why not?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I didn't see anybody like on the women's side that I think would really like push. And plus she's a former champion already, so it doesn't matter. Question is, does she want to go back to Western states? I don't remember if I asked her that on the podcast.
I'm thinking look, I don't know. Teddy's going to be out there. There's actually kind of a little bit of breaking news. I actually secured, I'm a little biased, to be honest. I'm actually doing the crew work for Jasmine, so I kind of had to say this contractually. Yeah, so I'm going to be out there at Canyons looking at it firsthand. We might actually get some reporting from the thing. I might pop in, but I got crew duties, so I really got to focus on those.
Yeah, you got to make sure
I can't mess that up. If she does, I got to give her baby food, and then I got to make sure that she gets because my point being is that the only call Teddy to be on the crew if you're trying to get to Western states. That's the only time I field those phone calls. So I'm assuming that that's what her goal is.
I think so. Yeah. All right, listen, fingers crossed. Let's hope she brings it home. It's gonna be fun to see. All right, let's get into some questions here. Do you think this particular course? Let's talk in the 50K. Do you think this particular course suits a particular type of athlete?
Yeah, no, I think it definitely does. I mean, and that's why I brought up Nick Handel. And again, granted that he is going into a freaking lion's den. He's used to running on those courses. He's training on them. Everyone talks about the California carpet. That's why Nick Handel, he's a local boy. That's my local pick. That's my dark horse, okay? Also because I know him, he's a good guy. But Hayden Hawks, I'm telling you right now, I think that guy, you get that California carpet, that nice smooth, a lot of downhill. I think that's who it's going to benefit. That really fast runner who can open it up, can keep that, just keep it going.
Yeah.
And that, to me, that's Hayden. But again, we'd say Eli too. What do you think? What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, I mean, like this isn't like I don't know. So like we just previewed, for instance, like a Golden Trail Series race, the Kobe Trail, right? And that's an interesting one where you get a lot of athletes that are going to be racing on a mountainous course, right? But people are coming in. For some people are coming in from orienteering backgrounds. Some people are coming in from just pure fitness. So some people don't have maybe the technical skills to hold up, right? They just have the fitness. This is quite the opposite, where we're previewing a course where it's 31 miles with 5,500 feet of climbing, and the winner is running low threes. So figure your winner is going to be running, I don't know, a 2:10, 2:15 marathon, somewhere in that range on the men's side. So it's like, dude, who's got the skills to do that? I think it's going to be Hayden Hawks, Eli Hemming, but it's like you don't really have to worry about any technicality. Like you could just kind of float and worry about the rest of it, let the rest take care of itself. Like I said, I've never been on the course. You could speak better to this because you've run a little bit on the Western States course. There's like no technicality to it, right? I mean, I would imagine because it's such a fast race, it's got to be California carpet.
Yeah, no, if somebody's coming in here and they're calling this course technical, they need to go back to road running, is really my take on the whole thing. It's because, like, again, this is really, it's a smooth course. It's a fast course. That's what it's, I mean, to your point, when this used to be more of a climber's course, and now we have the descending portion where it's a net descent. It's getting faster and faster. I don't know. I think you are 100% right, though. I think that there's zero technicality involved with this course. I think the temperatures are going to be great. Obviously, when you get down into the canyons, it's going to warm up a little bit. So you might see some people who go out there a little bit too fast, a little bit too eager. They may blow up. But I think we're going to have nice temps. I don't think we're going to have anything crazy. But anything could change. But I think as far as course, it's going to benefit the really fast guys for sure.
What do you think baseline fitness for the win? Like, do you think sub 245 marathon in the women, maybe sub 230 marathon in the men, as far as like base fitness wise?
Yeah. I'd say that's probably accurate. See, yeah, probably.
Who do you think? All right, so so you got some dark horses, right? You talk about Nick Handel. I think my dark horse is probably Cade Michael, and some other gentlemen and ladies out there. Do you think someone's going to have a career-defining moment? Like, let's say Cade Michael goes and has the race of his life and beats an Eli and I already think he's totally capable of beating Jesh. He probably has already, and I just didn't see it. Like, maybe because I know they've trained together. Like, they're both Western guys. Like, is it possible to go beat a Hayden Hawks or like a Eli? Like, could that be done? And if so, like, where does that put Cade Michael or somebody like that, or a Nick Handel?
Yeah, no, I think that this race in particular, I think was it last week we seen Gorge, and I think that's one of those races where you could potentially get some like crazy local guy who runs those trails all the time and has that career defining moment, comes out of nowhere and races it. We see a lot of that on the East Coast sometimes. I think with this one, because of the explosion of UTMB and canyons and everything, this brings out everybody. I mean, we still got a lot of international runners here that are coming in too, that are going to compete. I mean, we focus on the Americans because, we're the best, and I get that. But the thing is, there's a lot of talent coming in here. I don't think that's going to happen this time, James. I think that what we're going to see is we're going to see the regular run-of-the-mill guys. We're going to see the elite guys that we see that are on the podiums normally. I just see it being that type of race because of the popularity, because it brings out so much talent. Now, at the same time, it's any given Sunday, as they say, right? Anybody could come out there and win, and I think that a lot of this list is so deep. The 50K is absolutely stacked, and it could be. I mean, would you say? I mean, give it a percentage chance with this with Cade. What do you think his chances are of actually taking a podium? Would be my question.
Oh, I think Cade has a very high probability of getting on the podium. He hasn't raced this year. I think he's fresh and he's fit. Most recently put up and pulled Andy Wacker. Andy Wacker just absolutely dismantled the course record at the Big Alta 28K, right? And he pulled Andy up Gold Hill, and you're talking 5-minute grade adjusted pace. I forget how many miles it is, but 5-minute grade adjusted pace for 3,700 feet of climbing up a dirt road, and it's just very similar, right? This is gonna have 5,000 feet of climbing, almost 6,000 feet over 31 miles. So Cade's got the wheels, dude. He's got the tools to do it. He's young. He's hungry. Oh, I'd love to see him get third. I don't know if he has the ability.
Okay.
I don't know if he can beat Hayden or Eli on a fast day, but let me tell you something, dude. I still think he's I mean, we'll talk about when we get into picks, but I think he has the tools to get on that podium. There's no doubt in my mind.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a big Cade Michael
No,
fan.
that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. I like that.
All right, let's get into matchups. I know we already talked about Hayden and Eli. I just want to throw a couple stats in there. Like I said, 2025 Hayden. One thing we can't discount is Hayden's Tarawera in 2025. Okay. We ran the Tarawera 50K. Robbie Simpson is so fucking fast and took things out so quick. He runs himself into a 3:18.46, and he found himself behind very early in the race. Okay, for probably the first half of the race, Hayden found himself behind and trying to catch up. Had to put the wheels on to finish that race. Runs it and wins in 3:18.46 in the Tarawera 50K. So Hayden doesn't panic either. That's one thing I really like about him, dude. He's kind of in the last few years started to put it all together, right? He's kind of learned how to race with this from Western states, right? He learned how to be behind and still play the game, race other dudes, race other matchups, and kind of play catch up. And he did just what that was in Tarawera. Eli, at the same time, got to assert his dominance on the Big Alta, okay? Like, wins the Big Alta 50K in 3:19:30. Absolutely, like, makes David Roche, and who I love David Roche. David Roche is one of my favorite athletes in the sport, but really just breaks him, makes him look silly.
Yeah.
And David Roche is a genetic freak, like,
absolute
so
animal.
good. So
Yeah.
it's kind of crazy because Eli, to me, beat some of the best dudes that I revere high in the sport, like Remy LaRue, right? Remy LaRue took third on that day. And in my opinion, he's one of the best climbers in the world.
Oh, yeah.
And Eli just, like, made these guys, I don't want to say made them look silly, but, like, just really rolled dudes up and just, like, asserted his will and dominance. Like, dude, at one point in time, he was just, like, stopped on the course and waited for David to catch up to him so he had somebody to run with. Like, Eli is that good. Dude, these are very similarly matched athletes. Like, Eli can climb, Hayden can climb. Eli can descend, Hayden can descend. Both of them can take things to the limit. One's the best 100K runner in the world outside of Jim. One's the best 50K runner in the world. How does that? I don't know. One has won this race in 2023. One has won this race in 2024. I have no idea. This is bananas. I love matchups like this.
It's going to be absolutely incredible, and I think that one of the big reasons, and that's like you brought up, is really Hayden's ability to kind of like fall in and know exactly where he is. And I think that, as you mentioned, he's gotten better at racing.
Yeah,
just strictly better. Just he has nailed it. And the thing is he's so comfortable with this course. I just think that that's why, for me, I know we get the picks, all that. I think everybody's clear on who I'm picking here. I think that Hayden is going to take it, and it's because he has so much knowledge of this course. It's gonna play huge dividends for him, because when you take those two levels of fitness, both of them great athletes, I just think that Hayden has the edge a little bit.
Yeah.
And
Both are so complete.
And Hayden's not gonna, like you said, Hayden's not gonna get scared if Eli's running out ahead and he's 2 minutes up on him. Hayden will not panic. He's going to keep steady Eddie, going to keep going, but that's what makes this race so absolutely spectacular from a spectator standpoint, is that you have these two guys. You look at Big Alta. Eli took it out from the very beginning. If I'm behind that man, thinking that I'm going to follow him that entire race and see that how he set that tone. That's scary from the very beginning. You're gonna have to follow this guy for 31 miles, and he's got that. It's gonna be tough. I'm still taking Hayden because I just think that his course knowledge and the fact that he has absolutely honed it in. I think he's taking this, and then he's taking it all the way to States, and he's gonna win that this year too.
Oh my God, yeah, dude, I could see it. I don't know. It's gonna be so interesting to see. Like, there's a lot of play here. So like I said, Hayden's game has evolved a lot. I think Hayden has really learned how to get comfortable in races and not panic and just be like, okay, like I'm gonna play this smart and assert my will and dominance maybe later on. The thing about Eli is, like, Eli has always been so good and so talented that he doesn't get pushed very often. The only time I saw him flustered was probably at JFK, where him and David Sinclair like had an epic battle. And if it wasn't for Eli's stomach kind of going south a little bit, like, who's to say like how much Eli could have very well won that race, and David Sinclair is like one of the best in the world as well. So I don't know, like anything under a 50K, Eli's a really safe bet. Like I'm taking the under on, like Eli is just so complete. Yeah, we'll talk about it a little bit more as we get into it. I want to talk about the matchup between Jennifer Lichtner and Tabor. So these two duked it out last year. 2024 Canyons. Tabor lost to Jennifer. Tabor took third, still ended up on the podium. Jen took second, ended up on the podium as well. They were separated by a little over 2 minutes, maybe I think it was 2 minutes and what looks like 5 seconds. We don't do public math here on the podcast, but 2 minutes, 5 seconds separated. One ran 3:59, one ran 3:57. So I don't know. Like I said, we talked about this a little bit. Jen won the Trans Gran Canaria Marathon. Tabor won the Big Alta 50K. I think a lot of this matchup is going to come down to who has the early season fitness and where that's going to go. All right, let's take picks. I'm going to let you start off with picks. Let's do top 5 women on your side.
Oh, gosh. Okay. Boy. I'm going to go number 1. I'm going Jen. I'm taking Jen for the win on this one. I know I said Hannah. That was false. Number 2, I'm gonna have Tabor. And for me, I'm gonna let you fill in 3, 4, and 5. I think that for me, those are the 2 women that I'm looking at being 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I think the third place is it's up for grabs. It's really up for grabs. I'm going Jen Tabor 1 and 2. Third is really up in the air. If you were to give third place, if I was to give you Jen and Tabor, what do you got for third?
I've got Heather Jackson, but I'm curious as to why you don't
okay.
have Heather Jackson winning either, or in the top 2.
Look, I think, and it really comes down to this: is that I think that between Tabor and Jen, I think that there's something there that they're gonna be battling it out with each other, and they're gonna be. I just think that Jen is primed, and Tabor is going to chase her. Tabor is not going to go, and it's not that Heather Jackson can't come out there and do the exact same thing, because we may see all 3 of them at the front trading spaces. One of them's in the front. It could go back and forth. It's going to be quick. It's going to be explosive. I don't think there's any reason why I don't have her having the dub. I just think that it's Jen. I think that Jen is going to win it, and Tabor is she's got that fitness. She's rolling it into trail finally, and I think she's going to bring it together again. Another year, the freaking Hemmings just lighting everything up. I swear to God, if they have a child,
dude,
do you realize?
Olympian.
Multiple sport Olympian. It's not even fair. Yeah, this kid is going to be like, it's like you thought you had records? Goodbye. They're gone in 20 years. Just wait.
Yeah, dude, if they have children, oh my God, like those kids are going to be recruited. Like if you're a college coach for cross country, track and field, or cross country skiing, like you're throwing the bag, especially for what do they do in college football now that they give money to kids? Anyway, yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, I hope they just they're recruiting very early. Anyway, so. Back to Heather Jackson. I do find it interesting.
Heather Jackson.
The thing that confuses me about Heather Jackson is the inconsistency, right? Sometimes it clicks and sometimes it just does not click. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because she's like a dual to triple sport athlete. I don't think she competes in tri anymore. But like big time gravel athlete, I don't know. Sometimes things click and sometimes they don't. She's won this race before. So you think like and Tabor hasn't, and neither has Jen. So you'd think we'd have her up there. But I'd say at best third place. I also think, like I said, Jennifer Lichtner and Tabor Hemming are 2 ferocious competitors. Like
exactly,
you're talking like some of the most competitive women on the planet when it comes to these races, dude. Yeah, and I don't know if Heather has that appetite to be able to swim with these sharks. Maybe this is just going to be a really fast stimulus because before Western States. Also, it's a Hocus sponsored race. There's probably financial incentive to get on the podium, probably financial incentive to be there. So, I don't know if they pay appearance fees and stuff like that for it, but I would imagine there's some sort of financial incentive to show up. So,
oh, I'm sure. And I think that what you said is the reason why I have Jen at the top and why we call her El Lobo. I guess if what would be the feminine term for that in Spanish? Would it be La Lobo? No, that wouldn't make any sense. I don't know. We're going with El Lobo. I'm sorry, Jen. We're doing that. But the reason I say it is because when you're on the start line and you're looking her in the eyes, I'd be freaking terrified, man.
Terrified.
And look, Heather Jackson, you make eye contact, she's like Medusa. Your legs are gonna turn to stone.
All right, so I got Heather in third. I do have Tabor winning. I think like I said, it's funny we have the matchup switched. Yeah, I think Tabor's just coming off such a solid roadblock that like technical running doesn't matter for this. Like I think she's she really the other thing, there is some questions about Tabor. Tabor really wasn't pushed at all at Big Alta. Like it was pretty easy dub for her. Like she was going sizzler from like literally the first 5 miles. So in my opinion, like I don't know. I'm curious to see Tabor get pushed. Whereas like Jen really had some international competition at Trans Gran Canaria. So I don't know. It's going to be fun. Either way, whoever wins 1-2, I think it'll be very close. I see them getting away from third. I don't see third being very close. I think this is Tabor, Jen within several minutes of each other, several seconds, and then maybe 5 minutes out from Heather or someone like that.
Oh, wow.
And fourth, I've got like Hillary Arnslot, who's a Canadian athlete. And in fifth, I'm going to throw Kimmy Schreiber, who's another Terex sub-ultra athlete. I think there's going to be some good crossover for some of these Europeans just because it's not a very technical course. It's all coming down to fitness and speed, and the Europeans tend to do pretty well here. Like they, if they can just follow the course, then they're not going to have too much of an issue. For some reason, they just like to beat up on us Americans. So, and then, so that's what I got for the women. That's the top 5. The men's field is a little bit deeper. I think there's there's a lot to the men's field. I'll let you take it away on what you think for the men.
Oh boy, yeah, okay, man. So this is my list here. This is. I think the beginning is very predictable. I got Hayden at number 1. I think Hayden's taking the win here. I got Eli at 2. I think he's going to be behind Hayden. I think it's going to be very close. I think it's going to be very much like the women's race. So we're going to have very, very tight race there. Where it starts getting interesting, I think, is for the 3rd place. And I think, I believe Drew was a previous champion of this. I think it's hard for me to put him on the podium, like, right now, because, like, I think, but here's the thing. Right now, it's, for me, for the podium, it's between Seth and Drew for 3rd. And then I'm rounding it out. I'm gonna go in Seth. I'm doing it. I'm putting Seth at 3rd, Drew at 4th, and Nick Handel in 5th.
I like that. Okay. All right. Mine's completely different, so I like this. All right. So
Yes.
I do have Hayden winning, and I think that Eli-Hayden matchup, like we've talked about 60,000 times now, is just going to be so close. I think it's either – I don't think there's going to be blow-ups between the first 2 men, Eli and Hayden. I think they're just so complete. Like, you're talking about 2 of the most complete dudes in the sport, if not, like, outside of Jim and Killian. Like, these guys are right there.
100%.
And I'm really excited, like, to see, like, to me, like, we've gotten a lot of good matchups this year, right? Like, we finally got to see Killian versus Jim again, right, at Chianti. And then we saw, like, Vincent, how does he match up in there? And Vincent, dude, he really showed that, like, UTMB wasn't a fluke. Like, that guy can hang. And, like, ran with Killian the entire race. So I was thoroughly impressed with that matchup. And this is another one where we get to see Eli and Hayden. So I've got Hayden taking the win. I just think Hayden is a little more complete and gets a little less rattled. And I just think Eli's like maybe one step back. It's going to be so close. And it could very well be Eli taking the win and beating Hayden. I would not be surprised. A lot of it depends, too, on like what part of the block Hayden is in. It might not just be fitness-wise. Like, maybe Hayden's muscles, you got to remember, like, Hayden's getting ready for something like a Western States. It's a little bit slower of a race. Obviously, it's a super fast runnable, like, but this isn't a sub-ultra race that Eli typically is going to be throwing down at the 50K and below. So that could be a small, like, muscle dexterity could be a small amount. I don't know. So my 3rd place, I'm going to go with Cade Michael.
Okay.
I think Cade is a young lion coming up in the sport. Dude's got a lot to prove. He should have been signed by a big brand last year and didn't. I'm personally a little miffed about that. I think he's one of the best new young cats in the sport, and should absolutely find a home. And I think this is an opportunity for him. Like I said, dude, he's been running a lot with Andy. After seeing some of those splits on what he did with Andy going up Gold Hill, I was like, man, these boys are fit. These boys are fit. I would expect Cade. I think Cade can definitely beat Matt Daniels. I think Drew Holman doesn't race enough, and there's something called race rust. And I think if you don't do it enough, sometimes you get a little, like he's going to be up there, but like there is such a thing as race rust. I do think you might forget some things if you don't do it enough. Nick Handel can hang. Seth Ruling is a question mark. I don't know. Like, I think what he did at Black Canyon was amazing, but I'm curious to see, like, all right, well, how are you going to hang in the 50K? Obviously he trains with a bunch of these boys. So, yeah, I've got Cade Michael in the 3rd. I'm going to go 4th, Darren Thomas.
That's a great pick.
Yeah, Darren had a very impressive big out to 28K. If this was beneath a 50K, if this was like a 28K or somewhere in that range, I would pick Darren for the podium. He's hit or miss with the. I shouldn't say hit or miss. I don't think that's a very fair assumption. I think he's a little bit less good in the 50K and up distances. He's deadly at like your VKs and stuff like that. He's so good and so like uniquely talented. I wouldn't be surprised if Darren's up there in the top 3. I just think that He's another young lion. He's hungry. He's not with Solomon anymore. He's got something to prove. He's running for himself now, which is a little bit different. He did take second in the 25K back in 2022. I think he goes and gets it done. And then in fifth place, I'm going to go Germain Small, who I think it was in I can't remember if it was 23 or 24. It was 24. He got second place. So 24 would have been right behind Eli. And he ran just a couple minutes off Eli, which is pretty stout. So I think Jess is very consistent, very solid athlete. He runs, I'd say, like, out of the highest race IQ out of a lot of these guys. I think Jess runs very calculated races. He's very dialed. And yeah, I'd say that. And then we've got a bunch of, like, I just wrote alt names in there. So Matt Daniels, Drew Holman, Nick Handel, Sven Hoch, who's another Terex athlete, a German, and then Seth Ruling. I mean, dude, like, I'm not throwing barbs, but, like, Matt Daniels is just so inconsistent as of late. Like, dude, if you're running anything over 50K, like, it's hard for me to bet with you. Anything under that, Matt Daniels is so talented, dude. Like, sub 4-minute miler. But, like, why not just stick to sub ultra? Like, you're so talented at sub ultra, and, like, ultra, just for some reason you just haven't been able to figure out for all these years. Just go sub ultra, and you're gonna continue to have a great career. You know, I don't know.
Yeah. It makes you wonder what makes those decisions. It brings them in play. It's like, cause you know, who knows? Maybe he wants to get into. Who knows? I do think that the comment the Darren one. I mean, that one for me, I was like, when you said that, I said, okay, you know, because I see Darren as he's really the short runs types guy, you know, but he does have it. He has the talent to come in there and do something. I would love to see Darren. He's such a nice guy.
He's a great dude.
And he's such a great guy. You know, he's just a nice dude. And he paints dogs.
He does paint dogs.
He paints dogs.
He paints dogs.
That's so great.
I gotta send him some photos to paint my dogs. I forgot about that. Yeah. He's got.
Yeah, you need to do that.
Yeah, he's got a lot of talents, man. And I don't know. Yeah. He's just a good dude. And you know, it's hard to bet against him. I just think he's. You know, I think. You know, now after, like, departing Solomon, I think he's, like, I haven't spoken to him personally about this. I did DM him about something else the other day, but, like, you know, I can't help but think, like, I would have a chip on my shoulder, and and Darren is so talented that it's like, you know, he seems to be having a lot of fun too, and things seem to be clicking. And then going back to Cade, dude, there's something about Cade, like, some people just have that, like, factor about them, and Cade is so talented. And, like, just has the ability to hang with these guys, you know. And I don't want to be too harsh on someone like a Matt Daniels. It's just that, like, Matt Daniels to me is like was one of my heroes in the sport when I first came in. Like, I really respect and admire him, and he's so talented. Like, a sub 4-minute miler, he's so good, dude. And, like, hasn't been able to put it together. Wouldn't be surprised. He's someone that can, like, win the race, you know, for sure. But just, like, what are you doing in ultra? Go stay in sub ultra. You have the ability to compete at these series and alls and races like that if you just put the time in. So, yeah, stop running the long stuff with Seth and them. Go run the
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I want to change my pick because you are right. I'm not going by my own logic here. Seth Ruling is a better technical runner. Seth doesn't even get top 5. We're throwing in Darren.
Throwing in Darren. Okay, all right. And Seth, you know what, dude? Yeah. It's funny. Like, I was just listening to. I shouldn't be too biased because I actually really like Seth. I know he's pretty tight with Michelino, and it's like I don't know. He's really talented, but again, like, there's the inconsistency there where, like, he just had the win of his life at the Black Canyon. And maybe that brought him up to a new level and from a confidence perspective. I know he's dealt with some issues as far as injuries over the years. You know, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. He's another one that could go win this entire race. Like, I'm pretty confident that he can hang with Eli and Hayden. I know he's trained with both of them. So, yeah, I don't know. It's going to be one of those ones that, like, it depends, you know, how bad you want it and what's your race IQ. I think that comes down to, like, a lot of it, you know?
100%, yeah, no, absolutely, and I think that, you know, it's like one thing I will say in this kind of like tying it into the 50Ks. I think people need to be very wary of the Canadian runners coming into this race. I am a little biased, you know, again working with Jasmine, but this is all I'm gonna say. All right, these Canadian runners that are coming down here, they're big mad about these tariffs. They're up there, they're making lots of noise, and I think that, look, here's the thing.
They're gonna come in and kick our ass, you think?
I don't know if they're going to come in and kick our ass, but I like the spirit. I like what I see in from Canada. I want them to come in, and I want them to really, really throw down here. And what I'm seeing is that because we don't have like a lot of top 100K. I would say like the female isn't like that deep. I think for the Americans, I should say, I think that we take Jasmine, and if we make Canada the 51st state, she becomes our first honorary American runner. And I think that like she does like I don't know. I just think that we bring her over. We like draft her or something like that.
Get her on the team.
Yeah, we bring her in because we need that talent. We need that pure, unadulterated rage out there on the course, running. Like, because I that's why I think that she's coming in. She's mad. She's proving a point. She says,
Yeah.
But really, what she's doing is she's showing that they have what it takes to be part of America.
Oh man, who is even? All right, I gotta check this while I have you. Is like who is the 100K in the 100K women? Jazz Lowther, Priscilla Forgey, Emily Hawgood, and Loudon Keely.
Emily Hawgood could come out there and do something. She's starting to get real fast.
Katie Asmith.
She's a T-Rex.
Katie Asmith, Emily Clark. So there's a lot of like big names, but like people. Marianne Hogan. All right, that's a name that I'm interested in. Like, does Marianne Hogan, because she's gotten on the podium of Western States before, I'd be very curious to see what happens there. Keely Henninger, dude, Keely's an interesting one too.
Yes.
Because she, took a step back from ultra this year and is like not a professional athlete anymore. Well, she's a professional athlete, but like depends on how you define it in the sport, right? But like she doesn't have the pressure anymore of like having to deal with all that contract bullshit. So it's like, well, what does that look like? Like is she phasing her way out of the sport, or is she just like feeling a little lighter in the sport? What is like? I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
And it's interesting because I actually saw when I saw her name on there, I was like, okay, maybe. Look, I think that there's a changing of the guard in the female side of this sport. We've seen it getting faster and faster on both sides. I just think that there's a new group of ladies here, and that we are going to start want to talk about making names for ourselves on races. I think that on the ladies' side, we're going to see a lot of that coming up here in the next few years. We're going to see some girls that are coming out of nowhere. Like Jen is kind of like one of them,
Yeah.
She's just like this wild lady running around in the woods, and then they're like, hey, here's a bib and some shoes. And then she goes and destroys everybody. So, I just think that we're seeing a changing of the guard, and like all those older time, longer distance athletes, we're going to see them start fading off, and we're seeing the Katie Schides, the Jens of the world, they're coming in. And I don't know. I mean, I think that, the way I see it here, I'm looking at here, even on the men's side of the 100K, all I know is that if that freaking lunatic Francesco
Poopy gonna win?
comes in here,
Poopy's
Poopy's not gonna win. He's gonna poop out. Look, the thing is that like I have a lot of respect for the people from the home country and everything like that, and like I love Italy, it's beautiful, but that guy needs to get out of here. I don't like him at all. Really, I'm taking like Eric LaPuma, Rod Favard. Let's go America. Let's show this guy. Get back to Europe. We don't need you here, Poopy. We don't need you. Get out of here. And I like the name. Francesco's a great name. It's just like name. Poopy? Come on, Poopy. Get out of here.
I was going to call him Puppy. I was calling him Puppy for a long time, and he corrected it and said Poopy.
Yeah, but you got Rod Favard, the pitbull, coming in. He's going to rip your throat out.
Dude, what do you think about that? You think Rod repeats? You think Rod's for real?
Rod repeats. Rod's for real. Yeah.
I think so, too. I think Rod, really figured it out over, last year, just, dude, between Western States and what he did at Canyons last year, and then what was that? He just ran that Santa Barbara 9 Trials race that he just demolished dudes. Rod is really good, man, and has it figured out. I think it was a lot. Nutrition was a big factor that he started putting together, and it's now this is one of the biggest names in the sport in the next few years, in my opinion. I think Rod.
And leave it up to the North Face. Leave it up to the North Face to let him go too. My God, what's going on over there? I swear, it's like they let all the talent out the door. Zach Miller, who are you applying for next? Question.
Zach Miller.
I'm just saying.
I think he's running hard.
But it's a serious question because I'm confused, honestly, James. I know this is probably a topic for another podcast, but my gosh, keep the talent. These people are world class. Give them some freaking money.
I don't know if I get in trouble for saying this, but I don't really care.
Probably.
No, so dude, you know what, man? I've got as someone that works in corporate finance, I do have to say this. when private equity takes over something, so like private equity, the VF Corporation owns the North Face, right? So there's a budget. All brands have a budget, but like when private equity, in my opinion, just sucks the life out of things, and that's a lot of the issue. Is like when there's such steep budgets, like you can't pay someone like Katie, Katie level money. I don't know how they like Solomon and Emmer was able to get like. Well, that's probably why there is no North American athletes on the Solomon team anymore other than Max King, is probably because that budget all got allocated to Courtney. But that said,
absolutely.
like I think just like was able to come in and throw the bag, and that makes sense. This is interesting. So like I'm looking at the there are some names, dude, at the 100K. Like you got Poopy. I don't know. Poopy just like aggravated me because he just seems so confident. I don't know where I saw his interview at somewhere. He just seemed so confident that he was going to win this race. And you know what, dude? Like he's really good up into the 50K distance, but like he's like a delicate dude. I don't know if you've ever seen him in real life. He's a little guy. And like I just wonder if his like muscles and bones can hold up over that like long duration. Like sure, like you need to be light and fit for, he's a sub ultra guy. I just wonder what that durability looks like over 100K. I don't know, maybe I'm full of shit, but
look, it could be, but I look at these are the names that I'm just saying right here. Look, Eric LaPuma, number 1.
Yeah, I'd like to see LaPuma.
Rod Favard, Anthony Costales, Jeff Mogavero. Are you kidding me? These guys are world class.
What do you think about Mogavero? He's kind of hopped onto the scene in the last few years.
Man, I think that guy, he's a stud. He's a Montana boy. He's coming. Look,
top American in series and all 2 years ago. Like so nasty.
Incredible.
Yeah.
There was last time I saw him, he was running it at Broken Arrow with Michelino down the snow.
Oh, I forgot. Him and Michelino have had some tight races. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they was neck and neck coming down next to each other, and you see these two great runners sitting there next to each other, just chatting, running fast as hell through the snow, and we're all just watching like, how the hell do they do this? I think Jeff's going to be incredible. He's got an absolutely amazing career, and he's one of the skimo guys. Yeah. So, he's got that fitness, man. I'm saying, Francesco, look, you need to relax. You're going against some absolute freaking monsters here.
Killers.
And I'm sorry, take your euro and get the hell out of here. This is Canyons, baby. America.
What do you think about Anthony Costales? Do you think I feel bad.
Dark horse.
Yeah, dude, it's kind of crazy because he's probably one of the most talented guys in the field, and is probably just being kind of counted. Like, it's crazy what we do in this sport. I was just talking to a buddy about this yesterday, like how we discount guys after they get injured, and like they kind of go quiet on the scene, and it's like, well, we're not going to count him in because he's injured or this, that, and the other. When it's like, dude, Anthony could very well come in and win the race too. Like,
I think he could too, James. He's one of those guys that I have on my list. I put him on here for a reason.
And Tom's like gym level, like close to gym level.
Yeah.
So,
but he's British, so
yeah, it's true. Yeah, he automatically loses a point. Fucking British.
Loses a point. Yeah. And it's nothing against British people. It's just like, look, we got our independence from you. I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to, look,
Listen,
okay.
We're back-to-back World War champions.
You got Anthony Costales. Yeah, exactly. World War champions, all right, with the America.
And Mackay Clemens.
Anyway, sorry.
I'm interested to see Mackay Clemens because I know he was supposed to be a Black Canyon again. I don't know if he dropped or he was there. I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, he's another one who used to be a Colorado boy. I see him on a lot of segments actually in the springs, and solid.
Out of curiosity, a little off topic. I don't know if what else we're going to talk about here. Teddy actually has to take a really wicked poop right now, so I'm going to have to
close this out whenever you're done.
But yeah, for sure. But I'm wondering. So like you was talking about All Good and all her Strava segments. How many of those have you gone and just taken from her just to be like, whatever?
She's a woman, so I'm not really looking at her. Like I'm always looking at like the overall, and I don't know.
Yeah, but that's what I mean though. Is like if you're like above her.
Dude, I'm really bad with Strava segments. Like I'm not really active on Strava. So like unless I'm doing research for a race, I'm not really looking at it. Like I follow 5 people on Strava, and all of them are muted except my wife. Like I don't really look at. I'm very bad. Yeah, I don't want to see what anybody else is doing. I want to be focused on my own shit, and just focused on myself. I just, like I said, in research up to this race as well as stalking, sometimes I'll like see stuff that comes up on segments, and I'm like, how hard are you running that? Like, why are you leaving? Why are you leaving a race level effort? Like, your heart rate is this. Obviously, a lot of people hide heart rate, but like,
I think that's funny when they hide their heart rate.
I'm not trying to start shit.
It's cute.
But I just, I've got my personal qualms with some folks in the Springs, and it's like, well, could be more active in your community. You could do a lot of things, and you don't. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm just wondering if you was petty like that. You go out there and you're like, oh, that's cute. And then you look at the heart rate thing. That's a topic for another day. I think that's the silliest. They say you hide your heart rate. I know what you're doing. This is not a recovery run. Calm down.
Dude,
Calm down there, guy.
This is why I hate Strava. It's like it's people take it like such to another level, and they're like so upset. Like I don't know. Some people I see doing it really well. Like my buddy Nick Tusa, who's been on the podcast a gazillion times. Like he just like puts himself out there in the world, and he doesn't really care. He's not looking at other shit. He's just putting his own thing out there, and and it's used for good and positivity, and I really appreciate that. Whereas like
that's what it's supposed to be.
The other problem is, dude, is like now that I have like, I don't want to say a following, but like a small following, I don't like people looking at me for what I'm doing, and that aggravates me. I don't want people liking my shit and on my shit, and like I keep it very private. My training, like just like Brian Whitfield says, like my training's for me, and that's why like it's a very personal thing, and I'm very dialed, dude. I take it very serious. Is that butter? What is that?
Oh no, this is a bagel with an egg. Jake, my producer. He has now been fired from all of the electronics, and so now he just cooks for me and brings me waters and things. So I got a bagel with an egg, which is maybe one episode we'll do on nutrition.
Let's do it.
This is a very
there
good
you go.
thing.
Bagel with an egg. Are you running today, or are you working today?
Oh, just working today. I'll probably run. I'm always doing. Here, take this. Thank you. I'm always running, always trying to run. James, I'm not a fast guy. Teddy's not a fast guy. I'm just kind of going out there. I'm going cruising. I'm not like you, James, where you go, because like you said, I would follow you on Strava, but it's terrifying. It's terrifying.
I'm actually a very boring follow on Strava because I don't post things. Yeah, dude, I don't know. It's funny. I forgot what I was going to ask you now. You threw me off.
Oh, we were talking about Strava. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I need to get my potassium. Electrolytes is important. Actually, this podcast is brought to you by Celsius Energy Drinks. It would be really nice if you guys sponsored Teddy because I need some money. Anyway, that's just a free pitch for them.
Oh, dude. All right. Well, listen, man. Thanks for coming on. This is a phenomenal race preview. Teddy, you're the man, dude. Appreciate you.
No, James, you're the man. Hey, good luck to you. I don't know when we're gonna air this. I'm in and out right now of the studio, but I appreciate you having me on and talking about this. I think it's gonna be great. Like I said, we'll be out there. Maybe we'll get some reporting in, and I'll keep the people updated on what's going on out at Canyons. But this is an exciting race, big weekend, man. I am excited for this sport. Because James, tell me, is this sport the greatest sport in the world,
or what? It's the best sport on earth, man. Other than I do like MMA. I like violence. But yeah, this is a great sport too. Yeah.
Maybe we add them both together at some point. To get to the finish line.
Do that.
Bam, 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 punches. I don't know. They do slap fighting.
Think if like guys. All right. What's your really quick before I let you go? Like if guys like end a race like holding hands, maybe they have to fight after.
Yeah. If they do that, they're either
disqualified or
disqualified, ineligible for racing ever again in your life, and subject to the basement of the internet where all the cringiest things go, or you fight it out.
Yeah.
To the death.
To the death. Speaking of that, are you gonna get Michelino on yet? Like, what's the deal there? Is he gonna come on?
Yeah, I don't know.
Here's the thing.
This is what's weird. Yeah, I think he was down in your area.
He was supposed to come on, and then he didn't come on. I got my gripes.
Oh, yeah. Shocking. Michelino doesn't come on a podcast. He's evading the authorities, and now he's evading, and now he's dodging you. This is the thing that I find very strange about it is that his partner Jasmine, she requests the services of Teddy, and now I'm like, Jasmine, your boyfriend's dodging. Is he gonna be there, or is he gonna not miss the race too? I don't even know if he's gonna be at Canyons. We'll see. All I know is that if I see him at Canyons, I'm gonna sit him down.
We're gonna have words.
When I'm in an I'm gonna have words. I'm gonna put him on the podcast. I'm just gonna go Instagram live on him. And I'm gonna follow him around like James O'Keefe and just pester him.
You should. I think that's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
Well, Teddy, I'll let you get your shit in. Have a wonderful day, and thanks so much for
Thank you, James.
Thanks so much for coming on, man. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you, James.
Awesome, brother.